Hi, my name's Bob Weeks, and I'd like to show you a little bit today about kansasopengov.org, which is a website that's a project of the Kansas Policy Institute. What this website does, as you can see its motto here, is an open window on Kansas government. And Kansas OpenGov has gathered a great deal of data from across the state about government spending and taxation and presented it here on one website, a pretty easy to use website that regular people can use to find out information about government and its operations. Right here on the front page you can see here's a map of Kansas with the counties shown, and by rolling over counties you can see we can get a summary of some of the data for the county. And if I were to click on a county, here's a page that shows more detailed information for that county, including a summary of what's happened with property taxes over the past dozen years or so. And then down here, a table where year by year we can see data about property tax and the rate of change, the mill rate, the population, assessed value and the change, and things like that. So just by doing a couple clicks we can get right down to some data that people might find very interesting. What I'm going to do here is to take a look now at state government pay and benefits, because for any organization and certainly for government, pay and benefits, employee costs in other words, are a big portion of a budget. You can see that we can search the pay and benefits database. We'll do that in a moment, but here's a couple reports that are predefined for us: employees earning $100,000 or more and overtime earnings. I clicked on overtime earnings because excessive overtime that's being paid can be a sign of trouble in personnel management and financial management for that matter too. You can see we have a table here showing names of employees, the agencies they work for, the position they hold, and then for the past couple years we have the year and the amount of overtime paid for that particular year. You can see right away a couple things. First of all, here's some employees in the Adjutant General Office who have job titles like program consultant and planners, and you can see that these people were paid $35,000 or more in overtime for 1 year, and that of course would be in addition to their regular salary. So certainly we might look there. When the state government says we have no more to cut, when the governor says we've already cut to the bone, but yet we've been able to pay these people who work at desks, I think, over $35,000 in overtime pay in addition to regular pay, we have to wonder if the state is really looking very hard to find ways in order to cut expenses. Here's another example of a man who works for the Kansas Juvenile Correction Complex as a corrections officer and earned over $43,000 in overtime in 1 year. So what I'm going to do here is investigate a little bit further. I'm going to come back to pay and benefits. This time I'm going to say search the pay and benefits database. This will take me to a page where I can filter for just the exact data that I'm interested in at this particular moment. And as you can see here, we have now the filtering portion of the website where I can say the agency that I'm interested in. Here's a list of the agencies, and you can remember that that was the Kansas Juvenile Correction Complex. There we are. And for last name, I'm going to say equal to, and I'll type in the name that I'm interested in. I'll click on filter, and we'll wait a moment for the computer to do its work, searching through many thousands and thousands of rows of data in order to find just what we're asking for. And here we have the results here. So you can see we had 3 years of data for this particular person. That top row is for 2008. That's the row that the data that we saw earlier, and you can see that $43,000 in overtime pay. The person's total pay was $85,000, and this tells us that this man earned more in overtime pay than he did in his base pay. And that's a personnel, a financial management policy that is certainly subject to question as to why is overtime pay so high at this particular state agency. You can also see on the comments column the notation, state refused to provide benefit data. KansasOpenGov.org was able to get the overtime and total pay for employees, but not the cost of providing their benefits. And as we know, benefits are a very big cost, and hopefully in the future the state will be able to provide that data so that we can get a better handle on the true cost of employing Kansas state government workers. So that's a quick look at KansasOpenGov.org, again coming from the Kansas Policy Institute in Wichita, and some of the ways where just a few clicks here and there people can find information about the state government and the way it's spending money.